Welcome to the channel. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Today we will be reviewing the San Martin SN0116. It was featured on my latest Aliexpress sales video as I believe it had just been released. Since then, San Martin has released so many other models, or should I say colorways and designs, but with the same cases. This, for example, they had released this such a long time ago, but since then they've also made countless versions to it, and it was such a popular design and size that they are also doing the same thing with the 39mm sports watch. I mean, why not? It gives them more time to really bring the quality of the dials much higher and also experiment with lots of different colors and styles. Now, here is what I would really like to give them credit for. I've seen some of the colors with this same style of watch in hand, and I have to say they have chosen some random colors but made them work so well. So I think that settles it. San Martin are really at the top of their game, and not only on AliExpress. A lot of indie microbrands need to take them very seriously, especially now that they're about to release another stunning looking sports watch with a Miyota 9000 series movements and a stunning dial. Right, now back to this. This particular style caught my eye. I am partial to vintage looking watches. This one is a Rubia distressed version. They also offer a Pepsi distressed version, and again both colors without the tea-bagged faux patina. So it gives you a lot of choice. I think both look great, but to be honest, if I had saw the non-tea-bagged version, I probably would have got that one. Now, price-wise, you're looking at around £250, but we know with coupons and sales prices, you probably get this a little closer to £200, which, given the specs and finishing, you really can't complain. You've got things like a bi-directional bezel, which is perfection. It's very smooth, it glides nicely from notch to notch, and I think they have really mastered it. And they use an aluminium bezel inset. Now, I don't want to hear the complaints from the spec chasers because honestly, unless they used a brushed ceramic one, the aluminium looks way better and helps set that vintage tone even on the non-distressed versions. Now, the watch also, of course, features the on-the-fly adjustable clasp. Now, even though everyone wants one, I seriously don't think this watch needs one. It does upset the balance of the watch in hand. It does look out of proportion, and it could have been a much slimmer, a normal 4 micro adjustment clasp, but I understand they have to keep customers happy. Now, this is of course powered by the Seiko NH34 GMT movement, so no, the GMT hype has not died down just yet, but they've visually made it look quite appealing by the use of red accents on the GMT and seconds hand, as well as a black and gold date wheel at the 6 o'clock, and without a gaudy framed date, they went with the beveled edges, which looks much classier. So it's very easy to read, it's quite easy on the eyes and looks quite natural. I think the combination of brand, black and gold is always a winner. Now next up is the distressing. Now part of the reason I went with this particular option is because I like to see how they've done it. What I think is quite impressive is to be able to replicate a technique such as this in mass manufacturing. Usually get the odd hobbyist aging the watches by various methods and techniques, hence the teabagging reference, but to have it across a bezel, the whole dial, handset, and across a mass-produced watch, it is impressive, and we really have to disassociate any negative connotations with the Chinese-produced watches now. I mean, this is really well done. Now, as I mentioned, they've aged the whole dial. You do get a faded black dial, bit of patina around those hour markers. The minute track has been wholly teabagged, and the handset has also a very slight patina over them. And you've also got the brown half of the bezel insert, which has been slightly worn away to add to the distressed look. Now, regarding Lume, bear in mind that this is that faux patina on there, so the Lume isn't that bright. If you're looking for really good Lume, I suggest you go with the non-patina version or perhaps the Pepsi one, which I haven't seen. But on this one, the handset is a lot duller than the hour markers, but both are still quite dull. So don't expect great longevity as you get from San Martin. I think that's more down to the design. But if you want more Lume, then go for the non-vintage distressed versions. Now, case-wise, you guys have already seen these cases. Superb satin brushing with the crisp polished bevels along the side. You also got drill lugs. You've got zero sharp edges, and it's just a really well defined and machined case. Now the crown, while it is slightly small, only around 6mm, it works very fine and it is very easy to use with very smooth threading. Now the dimensions are great for small or medium wrists as well. You got a case diameter of 39.5mm against a thickness of 12.4mm with an overall lug to lug of 46.5mm and a 20mm lug width. Now, arguably the best possible vintage bracelet that you're going to get has to be a Bezel Rice, and they have executed this perfectly. Combined with the case and the consistency of the brushing, it almost looks polished. All individual beads have been individually polished. The brush sides are immaculate with softened edges, so no sharp edges on the bracelet as well. And the bracelet tapers down to 16mm, down from 20mm, which makes it look even better. And as I said much earlier, the only thing that looks out of proportion is the clasp. Yes, it gives you an on-the-fly adjustment, but you don't need it on every single watch every single time. It should also match the watch proportions. Now on wrist, it goes without saying, the watch sits really nice in the center, comfortable for the most part. It looks really good as the colors are perfect for my personal taste, and the biggest thing I can think of is that damn clasp. I wore this watch as I typed out the review, and all I could feel was that clasp digging into the wrist, so desk divers beware. So that is it from me today. A clear winner by San Martin on yet another variant of this watch, and possibly the best looking vintage skin diver. But let me know what you prefer, the tea-bagged or non-tea-bagged version. That's it from me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.